So holidaymakers are making their way around the country for rest and relaxation for this Easter period. The N3 in KwaZulu-Natal is always really busy. It's the quickest route really to get to the coast. If you've got a limited amount of time, it's your closest sea coastal area. But of course, there are many other routes that are extremely busy this weekend. A lot of people heading home to family or to the bush to have a little break. So our reporters are on the scene and we are speaking to two of them at this hour. Moloto is in Modimolle in Limpopo and Lethiwe Mdluli is in KwaZulu-Natal. Lethiwe, I understand that you're at the Tugela Toll Plaza. Tell me a little bit more about what you've seen today regarding traffic and how things are looking at the moment.
Well, Sally, surprisingly enough, there's not been much activity on the roads here in Tugela Plaza. We were here a bit earlier on in the morning with the Transport MEC, Sipho Hlomuga, and he was just basically leading a monitoring operation where they were talking to motorists and also advising them to drive safe during this long weekend. We were expecting for traffic volumes to pick up along the day, but what we've observed today, like hours ago, was that a lot of people have not come down to KwaZulu-Natal. Of course, we're on the N3, which connects various provinces such as the Free State, Mpumalanga, and also Gauteng. So a lot of those people, when they're coming to KwaZulu-Natal, this is the route that they normally use. It also connects the province to other countries as well. So you'd expect for traffic volumes, especially for the long weekend, to pick up. But I just want to show you the activity that we're seeing right now on the N3. It's just a handful of cars that are making their way into the province. And basically, when you're here, Sally, this is the beginning of KwaZulu-Natal, but we're seeing less and less cars on the road. We were thinking that traffic was going to pick up, but we have seen that motorists and visitors have opted to not come. Maybe they will be traveling tomorrow because majority of the people in the country were working today. It wasn't a holiday. So maybe a lot of people have opted to travel tomorrow morning. We will be also monitoring the roads tomorrow morning because we've spoken to authorities. They are saying that they are hoping that a lot of people will be coming down, and they are saying that law enforcement agencies have been deployed. And as you can see from your pictures, there is a RTI car that is stationed here, and we've seen this throughout the day along the N3 where there's a lot of law enforcement officials that have been deployed to various areas. So yeah, we will be checking out the roads tomorrow and also just basically monitoring them to make sure that people are coming down. But for now, it's really, really quiet.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that a lot of people who are planning to travel, as you say, either they didn't get leave to get away early this afternoon. Other people also just being cautious, as advised, do not travel at night, rather leave first light in the morning. So possibly tomorrow morning we'll see a lot more cars on the road. You've also been told about areas that are hotspots. Just tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, Sally, you'd normally understand because of the crime that we've seen increasing in places such as Durban, which is the metro. A lot of people, when they are traveling down, they are heading to Durban. So there's been a lot of concerns from residents and also we've seen the government responding to some of those concerns, saying that there will be increasing police visibility in our streets because of this. And they're saying because this is a long weekend and there's a lot of holiday makers that are expected, they will be deploying a lot of law enforcement on our roads. I did speak to the head of RTI here in the province, Victor Chetty, who did share that there are places that they've deemed as hotspot areas in KZN, including Pietermaritzburg, including Mpangeni, and also Port Edward, which is in the south coast, and also, of course, in Durban. While speaking to him earlier on, he did share that in December they did observe a decrease in numbers when it comes to road fatalities and also road accidents, and they are hoping that this Easter weekend they will see much further decrease when it comes to road accidents on our roads as well. So when we spoke to him about the hotspot areas and where the police will be deployed, this is what he had to say.
We are focusing on the N3. Currently we are here at Tugela on the N3 toll. N3 Van Rienen, the N3 Mooi River, N3 Sidara to Cato Ridge to Key Ridge, the N2 from Durban, Spaghetti Junction going up to Mpangeni, Pongola, and the N2 going down to Port Edward. Those are my high-risk areas, and we have visibility there, and it's an integrated operation with the South African Police Services, the Durban Metro, and all local municipal traffic police. Last year, we saw a 47% decrease in fatalities in the province of KwaZulu-Natal and 57% decrease in crashes. My intention is to have a 100% decrease in crashes and fatalities, and that will be a plus for us all. But we cannot do that without the cooperation of our road users and the motoring public.
All right, so that's the situation on the N3 in KwaZulu-Natal at this stage. Let's move now, and thanks so much, Lethiwe, for that. Let's bring in Moloto, who is in Limpopo. Moloko, exactly where are you in Limpopo, and what are you seeing on the roads?
Good evening, Sally Badet. Well, we are on the N1 North at the Kranskop Toll Plaza, just outside the small town of Mdluli. And Sally, this road is very important in that not only do you have motorists traveling from Gauteng to the northernmost province of Limpopo, but you also have motorists and the truck drivers who are traveling beyond the Limpopo province, going to countries within the SADC region such as Zimbabwe, Malawi, others going as far as Zambia. So it is the gateway into the South African SADC region. Now, a lot of people are using this route, as I said, towards the SADC region. But I want you to take a look, Sally. I'll just quickly step out of shot. As you can see, the cars that you are seeing coming towards the camera here, they are coming from the direction of Gauteng. And ordinarily, this is what you will be seeing. Many cars traveling from the south towards the north. But ironically, at this point in time, you have a long queue from the north going to the south. So it would appear as if increasingly people are choosing to spend their time in provinces such as Gauteng, whereas ordinarily they would be traveling from Gauteng to Limpopo province or even beyond. And of course, visibility was maintained here. We saw an operation that was led by the Road Traffic Management Cooperation, as well as the local and the provincial police, traffic police, as well as the SAPS. You would recall, Sally, that last year during the Easter period, which is a period from Thursday to Monday, about 162 people perished on our roads. That, of course, was a decrease compared to the same period in 2021, where 235 people perished on our roads. So significant improvement, really. But of course, one life lost, too many. And we heard from the Road Traffic Management Cooperation indicating that on average, about 40% of the people who perish on our roads, Sally, are not necessarily motorists. They happen to be the pedestrians. So that on itself says that it is not only the people who are behind the wheel who are at the risk of dying, but also those who are walking. And there were about 134 fatal crashes. That was last year. When I spoke to the Deputy Minister earlier today at about 2 or 3 o'clock, the Deputy Minister of Transport, Lisa Mdluli, I asked him about if by that time they had already recorded the number of deaths, not only in Limpopo but across the country. He was saying at that time really they had not recorded any fatalities, but of course they continued to urge the motorists particularly, and other road users, of course, to be vigilant on the road. Maybe let's listen to the Deputy Minister, Lisa Mdluli.
Well, our message, as you say, is Lethiwe, but is that road safety starts with me. So once we can get that message across, we'll understand that I've got a responsibility to preserve my life, those around me, and my family. So visible policing is one of the key things, so that every 10 kilometers at least we need to see a traffic officer, a police official making sure that we ensure people that we are around. But mostly we are looking for people to cooperate voluntarily. Law enforcement cannot do it on their own. As you say, we don't know once the car passes here what they are drinking in there. But it's for people to make sure that they take responsibility.
And also, traditionally, Limpopo sees the Moriah Easter Festival, the church gathering of over 1 million people at times, if my memory serves me correctly. But I understand that this year, yet again, it is not actually taking place. That will also surely take a lot of passengers off the road if that event is not happening.
Well, Sally, of course, since the restrictions or the lockdowns of March 2020, when COVID hit our shores, obviously the churches or the larger gatherings were prohibited. And ever since then, the two major churches, the ZCC, one that uses the star badge, and the ZCC St. Engenas, one that uses the dove badge, they have not opened their doors. However, I understand that the other church, the ZCC St. Engenas, one that is using the dove badge, is for the first time since 2020 opening its doors for the pilgrims starting from today throughout this Easter weekend. But it doesn't have many members, the same as the Star ZCC, which commands multi-millions of members who tend to travel from many parts of the country, but also from the other countries in the region. So we're expecting as well that the president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, is going to be part of the Sunday church service at the ZCC St. Engenas that will be taking place. And it's important to highlight, Sally, that these two big churches that are in the area of Moria are just neighbors. So you will, of course, expect traffic to start peaking, particularly leading to that Sunday service. And of course, we also, on our way coming here to the Kranskop, we also saw the city of Tshwane leading another awareness campaign, the new executive mayor here. Upon our arrival here, we had a chat with the MEC for Transport and Community Safety, Florence Razliane, who was also leading the road safety campaign. Let's listen to her.
We need to gather all our stakeholders led by various denominations so that we start to get people to understand that issues of safety cannot be left to government alone. People must take full responsibilities. I always say to the people of Limpopo, we can't behave like foreigners in our own land, because one other thing that must differentiate me as a citizen and a foreigner, it's when I abide by the rules of the country. It's when I become the defender of the constitution of the country where I belong.
Not sure about that generalization, Moloko. There's a lot of law-abiding foreigners, and equally there are non-law-abiding locals and vice versa. But anyway, be that as it may, what is clear from speaking to both of you is that there is a very strong presence on these roads of the traffic authorities, which we really hope is going to minimize any harm to people traveling this weekend. I want to thank both of you, Lethiwe Mdluli in KwaZulu-Natal and Moloko Moloto in Limpopo, just giving us a snapshot of what is happening on our national routes. Do stay with us. We're going to continue with the story in just a moment.